Later in the importance of being earnest, after Jack and Algernon have had their deceptions exposed, they both decide to change their names.
This ghastly state of things is what you call bunburying, I suppose.
Ah, yes, and what a most wonderful Bunbury it is. The most wonderful Bunbury I have ever had in my life.
Well, you've no right whatsoever to bunbury here.
That is utter nonsense. Well, one has the right to Bunbury wherever one pleases. Any serious Bunburyist ought to know that.
Serious bunburyist? Good heavens.
One must be serious about something in one's life if they're to have any fun at all. I, for one, happen to be serious about Bunburying. Whatever you're serious about, I haven't the faintest idea. With everything you do, you approach it with such a trivial nature.
Well, the only small pleasure I have in this whole wretched business is that your good friend Bunbury is quite exploded. And a very good thing too. You shan't be able to come up to the country as often as you used to, dear Algy.
Ah, but your brother, dear Jack, is looking a little off colour as well, isn't he? Appears you won't be able to travel up to London so much if you was growing accustomed to. Not a bad thing about that either.
As for your conduct towards Miss Cardew, you're taking a sweet, simple, innocent girl like that is quite inexcusable. And say nothing of the fact that she is my ward.
Well, I can see no defence at all for your deceiving of a bright, clever, and thoughtfully experienced young woman like Miss Fairfax. To say nothing of the fact that she is my cousin.
I simply want to be engaged to Gwendolen. I love her.
And I merely want you to be engaged to Cecily. I adore her.
Well, it's not very likely that you'll be engaged to Cecily.
I can't see much likelihood, Jack, of you and Miss Fairfax being united now. But that's none of my business. And good heavens, if it was some of my business, I dare say I wouldn't talk about it. I believe it's very vulgar to discuss one's business. That's why only people like stockbrokers and the like do it, and even then only at dinner parties.
How you can sit there, calmly eating muffins, when we're in this whole wretched business, I can't quite make out. Seems to me you're perfectly heartless.
I can hardly eat muffins in an agitated manner. The butter would probably go from my cups. No, in fact, one should always eat muffins in quite a calmly way. In fact, the only way to eat them.
I say perfectly heartless at all. You eating muffins under the circumstances.
When I am in trouble, eating is the only thing that consoles me. In fact, when I am in great trouble, as anyone who knows me intimately will tell you, I refuse all things except for food and drink. At this present moment, I am eating muffins because I am very unhappy.
That is,
Besides, I'm particularly fond of muffins.
that's no reason you should eat them all in that greedy way.
Why don't you have tea cake instead? I don't like tea cake.
I suppose a man could eat his own muffins in his own garden.
You just told me that it was perfectly heartless to eat muffins.
Well, and perfectly heartless of you under the circumstances.
That may be, but the muffins are the same.
Algernon. I wish to goodness you would go.
You can't possibly expect me to leave without having my dinner. That would be absurd. None should ever leave without having dinner, except, I suppose, vegetarians and the like. Besides, I have made arrangements with Dr. Charlesbow to be christened at 5:45 under the name of Ernest.
My good fellow, the sooner you give up this nonsensical business, the better. I am to be christened today by Dr. Charlesbow myself at 5:30, under the name Ernest. Gwendolen would wish it. And I think it perfectly right for me to be christened, as there's no evidence at all that I'd ever been christened. It's perfect, it's different for you, because you've been christened before.
Yes, but I have not been christened in so many years.
But you have been christened before. That's the important thing.
Precisely. Which means my constitution can handle it. If you're not so sure about your having ever been christened, I dare say it may be dangerous you venturing into it now. Lest we not forget, someone very close to you was recently carried off in Paris by a severe chill.
You said yourself a severe chill was not hereditary.
I did, and I see it used to be, but gasp, I dare say it must be now. Science is always making such wonderful improvements to things.
That is nonsense. You are always talking nonsense.
Jack, you're at the muffins again. I wish you would. There's only a few left, and I told you I'm particularly fond of muffins.
But I don't like tea cake.
Then why on earth would you allow tea cake to be served up for your guests? What ideas of hospitality you have!
Algernon! I wish to goodness you would go. I mean, I've asked you to leave. Why don't you go?
Because I haven't finished my tea, Jack. And there's still one muffin left.